myself. Everything looks so delicious. Chips or eyes? I have to make something even tastier. And here's the first ingredient. Kitten, I'll borrow this from you. Great. What else do we have? Candy. This should be interesting. Sweetie, try it. Oh, tomato. Vampires can't do without red. So how do I pick it up? I couldn't get it because of my tummy. Don't move. I need a helping hand. The first unit of robots and vampires. Looks like I got it. You did well. Looks like we're getting along. Oh, that's so good. And the eggs, finally. I couldn't get there. Let me shake your hand. It's time for me to sit at the table. Let me make you a sandwich. It must be delicious. I already see myself in all the cookbooks. Ew. Food is not a toy. Time to finish my burger. Where did I put them? Here they are. I always leave salad there. Almost done. I created a culinary monster. I can't leave that monster on the loose. Need to deal with him. Getting into an uphill battle. Oh, it's perfect. That's so delicious. Wow, so beautiful. And it's on sale. I'll take it. So fast. Let's see what we got. It's even cuter in real life. Our baby will love it. What's this? They still show this ad? Seems like this raincoat is not for children, but for pets. I need a first aid kit now. A robot. The best solution for allergic people. Do you guys want a bottle like this? I'll show you how you can make the same one. Let's get started. Pour red liquid into the honey bottle. And decorate the bottle with lace. Fix the strip with a glue gun. Wrap the rope on top. So our bottle will look even more like a vampire.
Ang dami ah.
And to add elegance, we put everything on a pearl necklace. We need a glue gun again. Let's decorate the bottle with small flowers. There you go. Easy, right?
Wait lang, wait lang. Silver na.
Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a
I
silver
have
na.
someone to ask.
Okay, that's
There's no question the Ouija board won't answer. Vampire. I know that. What gender? Boy or girl? The answer's not clear.
Are you sure?
Can you just say it?
I think so. No more? I guess.
Try again.
I'm gonna connect this.
How can I help you? Come in. I'll be right back. Any complaints? I want to know the gender of the baby. Well, yes, it's possible.
There's something more.
I'm so excited. Really, man. Everything is wrong. So, Carol,
Let's check.
try this. Okay, any results? Thank you. Take a look. This is a boy. Gabriel, did you hear? We'll have a son. A boy. Did you choose a name? Not yet. Honey? I have no idea. He has no idea. Guys, what's the best name for our son? Leave your options in the comments. Thank you. Seaweed chips are the best.
Tago natin.
Oh, what is it? The baby doesn't seem to like what I like. Just don't be nervous. When everything starts, I have to be ready. I need to pack a bag for the hospital. I'll take only what I need.
I need that. I need that.
Documents, everything will come in handy. Hope I'll be ready on time. I'm ready. Wow, looks like it's over. Great.
Wag.
Is that it keeps the heat out of the body of the IMAC so there's less need for cooling. It also means that if the power supply fails, you don't have to take apart the entire IMAC to fix it. One of the clever things about this 123-watt power supply is that it incorporates a gigabit Ethernet port in the upgraded model. Now the integrated power cable is also graded for durability and color match right down to the two-tone design, but this connector is a MagSafe style connector, another first for an IMAC. And of course, this connector is doing more than just supplying power, it's also passing data for the Ethernet port. And again, I have to point out the fact that even the inside of this connector matches the color of the IMAC. By the way, this power supply, at least if you get the one with the Ethernet port, is a bit larger than the 96 watt power supply that comes with the 16-inch MacBook Pro. But thankfully, this cable is long enough for the power supply to reach the floor, even if you have an extra tall desk. Moving on to the very well protected iMac, we have a few layers to get through before we can start using it. So we do have an envelope wrapping the iMac, which is very similar to previous iMacs. So again, this is sort of a paper material, and you'll see that little recycle icon on the back. You just sort of have to pull these tabs in order to free it up and pull it off the iMac. But of course, we got more going on here. So we have this nice bright white screen protector, which has the hello icon on the front, which is also part of the boot up sequence. Now we just have to peel this off in one sheet, so you can see the tabs along the side to make this clean and easy. It is one sheet of glass with a sort of blue tint at the bottom edge to give it a little more style, but obviously no Apple logo this time. We also have a piece of plastic covering the aluminum back panel, which is also fairly easy to peel off. We also have a little piece of plastic just behind the stand that's covering the MagSafe power connector, I guess to prevent dust from collecting inside of it. And lastly, we have a single strip of plastic covering the entire rim of the iMac. So just one peel will pull it all the way off. Just make sure you don't knock over the iMac in the process. In terms of design, this iMac is definitely a big departure from the previous, but it does pick up a lot of familiar design cues, such as the chin along the bottom. It also resurrects some old design cues, such as the white bezel surrounding the screen, which we've seen on previous iMacs. Now this two-tone color is very important to the design of these iMacs. So when you look at the iMac front on, the keyboard, the mouse, the stand, and the chin are sort of color coordinated. When you flip it around, you'll see a two-tone effect with that dark blue on the back of the iMac. Now interesting enough, we do have a glossy Apple logo on the back, and that light blue matches the light blue on the chin, even though these two can never be seen at the same time. So when you pick your iMac color, perhaps the most important color you're going to look at is what you see on the front. So although that deep blue color on the back is really striking and really nice looking, it is sort of a secondary color when you consider that it's likely facing the wall and you won't see it most of the time. In terms of I/O, this is going to be a pretty familiar story for Apple. Everything is USB Type-C / Thunderbolt 3 / USB 4. In this case, the standard iMac gets two Thunderbolt 3 / USB 4 ports, which are good for 40 gigs per second. In the upgraded model, they add two additional USB Type-C ports, which are USB 3, which support up to 10 gigs per second. Now, because the iMac is so thin, the 3.5mm headphone jack has been relocated to the left edge of the iMac. And if you're looking closely, you'll see that even the USB Type-C connectors and the headphone jack have matching dark blue inserts. The new MagSafe power connector on the iMac does solve some problems that obviously come up with such a thin design. It's very low profile, but it's also very easy to connect. There's no alignment needed. It just basically snaps into place because the design is circular. So basically it's omnidirectional. You can basically just bring the plug right next to the connector and it snaps into place by itself. Now, unlike the MagSafe connectors from MacBooks, which were designed to come off really easily, these are on there very securely, so they're not meant to be removed often. And obviously, you wouldn't do that on a desktop. Although the Apple logo isn't backlit, it does have a Wi-Fi antenna behind it, which does support Wi-Fi 6, and we also have Bluetooth 5.0. The new stand on this iMac adopts a design very similar to the Pro Display XDR. It's a much lower profile, both side to side and back to back, compared to the previous iMac. The hinge for the stand is also mounted externally, as opposed to the previous design, which was mounted internally. Again, that keeps this design very slim and minimal. Fortunately for this aluminum stand, we do have these rubber feet on the bottom edge, which keep it nice and protected and also prevent it from sliding around on the table. And of course, it's also color matched. Unfortunately, the stand cannot be removed externally for a Visa mount. You have to take apart the entire iMac to get to it. So if you want a Visa mount, you'll have to order that when you order your iMac. And that basically applies to every part of this configuration. This iMac is a fully integrated design, so you cannot upgrade any part of it after you've bought it. And as always, the power button is along the back, but it's concave, so it's easy to feel for. By far the biggest upgrade with this new design is the larger display. So we get a device that's roughly the same size as the 21.5-inch model, but we get a 24-inch screen. This is a 4.5K screen instead of 4K, and that's largely to achieve the same pixel density of 218 ppi, which is good for Retina resolution on an iMac. But this is also a DCI-P3 panel, which supports the wide color space, so this is a very nice vibrant and colorful panel. It's not terribly bright at 500 nits, but that's also very consistent with other Mac models. But unlike the 4K iMac, this does get True Tone technology. Orange on your blue iMac, you can certainly go for that. In terms of the wallpaper, we have both a dark and light wallpaper, and again, you can select the color you prefer. But again, by default, they've already matched it to your iMac. Another welcome and overdue improvement is the new 1080p FaceTime HD camera, replacing the 720p from last generation. But the big news here is the new image signal processor that's carried aboard the M1 chip. That's the same technology that came from the iPhone and the iPad, and it makes a huge difference. But we also get a huge microphone upgrade. Just behind the camera on the back of the iMac, you'll see two microphones at the top edge and one right behind it. Now, Apple calls this studio-grade microphones, and although that's kind of a stretch, they are pretty impressive overall in terms of their performance. So let's go ahead and take a look and a listen to the difference. Here's an example of the built-in camera and the triple microphone setup. It does improve both audio and video quality quite a bit, although it's still a 1080p camera. And here is the truly outdated 21.5-inch 4K iMac camera, which definitely looks pretty fuzzy and dark. In terms of the chin design on this iMac, the interesting thing here is that it's more purposeful because the entire computer is located in that thin strip below the display. Everything. Now, if you look at the bottom edge of the iMac, you'll see a grill from edge to edge, which houses the speakers and the cooling for the CPU.
Oh. Ano ko to?
The display. Everything lives there, from the CPU to the RAM to the storage to the speakers, the I/O. Everything is in that space. That really wasn't the case before, so that chin on the previous iMac design was less integral than it is now. Now, if you look at the bottom edge of the iMac, you'll see a grill from edge to edge, which houses the speakers and the cooling for the CPU. So the cooling for the CPU is right in the middle. Now, if you really, configuration starts at $12.99, and all versions get the Apple M1 chip, although the base configuration gets a 7-core GPU instead of 8-core GPU, just like the base
Press the return key.
To use British English as the main language, press the return key.
To use English as the main language, press the return key.
To use British English as the main language, press the return key.
To use English as the main language, press the return key.
Buksan daw natin. Saan ba ito buksan? Ito ba? Ay, ito. Ito. Ito na pala, guys. Oh, dito pala. Gaga. Talaga. I-catch. Ganda i-catch. Talaga. Okay. Okay ka lang dyan.
Mama.
Ah, ano yun? O, ano na naman ginawa mo doon? Ha? Doon mo ikalat, wag dito. Ano yan? Ano yan? Wala kayo. Doon. Huwag dito kalat. Huwag dito kalat. Doon na.
Configuration of the MacBook Air. But this is the same M1 chip in the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, the Mac Mini, and the new iPad Pros. 256 gigs of SSD storage is standard with 8 gigs of unified RAM. You can upgrade to 2 terabytes of storage and 16 gigs of RAM. So the most you can spend is about $2,600 on this iMac. In terms of performance, there's no surprises here because this is the same chip that's in
Ano yun?
Wala naman eh.
Wala.
Nasaan si Oscar?
Hindi ko nga alam. Hinahanap ko eh. Hindi ko alam saan siya.
Nasa tree?
Narinig mo ba? Pag narinig mo, sabihin mo ko.
Okay.
Okay. Sige na nga. Ayaw na. Parang ito ba? Bukas, day. Angat. Angat. Sorry ko. Ay! Hindi ganyan. Masasara ko yan siya. Kaya hindi ko alam yan. Here my keyboard.